Hey guys, yeah. Welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. Today it is going to be a trailer reaction for Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. Obviously a few months ago. When was it? Was it December or November? Fuck, when was I in Japan? We had Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. I was fortunate enough to be flown over to Japan and do the promo and stuff like that. Now, in terms of my overall thoughts on Part 1, it wasn't the greatest, but at the same time, I found enjoyment in it. I think the biggest takeaway when it comes to something like Rebel Moon Part 1, and I'm probably assuming Part 2 as well, I think Zack needs to leave the writing to other people, but when it comes to the visuals, you always know he's going to deliver. Now, we have set up these characters now in Part 1, so I'm just anticipating the going to get going, just going straight into business with Part 2. We have a trailer. Let's check it out. Nice lightsaber, guy.
Their nightmare.
Jimmy!
Fighting together.
You must know.
I want to see more of Jimmy, for sure. I fucking love this song.
Because there is nothing to return to. Dark days lie ahead of us all. We will teach you how to fight. That's impressive.
The Scargivers among them. Those this village holds most dear. I should destroy them.
I have no choice but to fight.
Yeah, Jimmy.
The Scargiver herself. Are you truly prepared to allow this to continue in your name?
I'm sorry. I won't allow this place to die for me.
Alright. Look, it looks like an entertaining movie. The action looks good, given the fact that Zack is writing it once again with two other people, whether or not the dialogue is going to be on par with Part 1 and just not the greatest. Who's to know? But the inclusion of Jimmy the robot and seeing him in combat, I am really intrigued to see. I wanted to see more of his character in Part 1. I was kind of a bit let down that we didn't see more of his character in Part 1. But yeah, the fact that in Part 2, he's like throwing down with people. I love that. I love that notion. Visually, it looks great. Look, every time you see a Zack Snyder trailer or a film from Zack Snyder, you can always bank on it looking great. There obviously is the use of slow-mo. Zack loves his slow-mo. It obviously is a bit of a distraction when you see that laser sword, because obviously Rebel Moon started out as a Star Wars script that Zack Snyder was penning, and things fell through, and then he just kind of went about his own thing and did his own thing with different characters, but very much in vein of Star Wars. This is like, I wouldn't say a love letter to Star Wars. This is like, when I can't make Star Wars legally, I'm going to do something a bit different and change it up just a bit. So legally, I don't get in trouble. So let's take a look at the comments on the trailer. So 202,000 views, 4K views. I've actually got to put that extension back in, sorry, to see what the dislike ratio is. Lightsaber guy, just waiting for his moment. Zack really does love him slow-mo shots. He does, like, you know, they can be a bit self-indulgent and stuff like that at times, but I think visually, if they're done right, they look fucking stunning. Can't wait for the 10-hour director's cut. I mean, look, if it elevates both films, adds more context to the story, improves the dialogue, and it's more gory, why the hell not? Anthony Hopkins' character is just something else. I agree, I definitely want to see more of Jimmy. That soundtrack, though, soundtrack was a banger. I love that song. This movie looks good. Coming up 6th of April. 18 years, a big Sophia fan. Can't wait to see Admiral Noble in action again. He definitely is my favorite. He was great in the first one. So I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he survived the events of part 1. Hope he releases the director's cut for the first movie before this one comes out. That's actually not a bad idea. Kind of maybe just not set the record straight, but just give a bit more context to what's going on. If it, like I said, improves the story, the dialogue, the gore factor as well. Like Zack said, he had to hold back a bit with the final edit of part 1. So, dude, if you've got a cut there that's more gory, we're all for it. One of the most polarizing movie directors of all time. Mostly all of his movies have divided an audience. People either love him or hate him. There is no in between. Also, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. Even if I didn't enjoy part 1, I'm still hoping for this one. Still hopeful for this one. Hope they don't rush out the editing and just give the audience the whole movie. Yes. Fair call. Zack Snyder isn't for everyone. I think the guy tries his absolute best. I just feel moving forward, he needs to leave the writing to other people, which isn't a problem. That isn't a dig. I just think you need to know your strengths and your weaknesses and just use your strength to the absolute advantage and just get people to come in to fill in the blanks where you in particular couldn't exactly fill in those blanks. There's nothing wrong with that. So guys, overall, my first initial thoughts of Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. Looks fun, visually looks beautiful. Whether or not the dialogue is going to be the same, and the writing is going to be the same as Part 1, who's to know? We're going to have to wait and see. I just want it to obviously be a step up from Part 1, and if we do get those director's cuts of the films, are they going to amplify everything on a whole and just bring them together and just make them one big grandiose movie experience? Who knows? So thanks very much for watching, guys. Now, tomorrow night, I've got the premiere of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I'm looking very forward to that. And then on Thursday, I'm taking myself to see the new Sydney Sweeney horror film, Immaculate, and I'll have my review up for that as well. Looking very forward to seeing Immaculate. I'm hearing some really gnarly things, so I'm like, I want to be scared once again. It's been a while. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.